Hello everyone, this is a little bit of a different video for me on my channel, but what I want to do is go over how I ended up doing the, if I type it in here, Hespori Speed Chaser Challenge. So if we go up here to the Master Challenge, this one was a little difficult, I will say, but it was very rewarding, and I want to kind of go over the changes I made to a previous guide I used, which was Molgoatkirby's guide, as you can see right here. He made an excellent guide on this for different tier levels, and he's also one of the best players I've seen in this game. He has a lot of amazing guides, and I'm going to leave his video in the description below. Now, what I want to go ahead and get out of the way is I know people are probably going to say in the comments how they don't have specific gear, but what I'm trying to show here is the upgraded version of what I would say the mid-level guide is. Now, there's one item in all of this that is honestly a big difference, and that's the Abyssal dagger, but that's the main thing I want to go over here. But other than that, everything is pretty much a staple. I'm going to be going over the slight differences in a bit with my gear and how I made this challenge a lot easier with updates since Molgoatkirby's guide came out, but what I want to go over right now is the staples. Obviously, you're going to be bringing in thralls and you're going to be bringing in death charge, and we'll go over both of these. The thralls are going to add a little bit of damage, and possibly, just like you'll see in my video, it will finish the kill for you. There's been many times where I've done a chally spec and it was left with 1 HP, where the thrall has actually cleaned it up. Even though it might have been too late on the challenge, but this one it actually cleaned it up just in time, which is very good. Thralls will be used in between the flowers on the first phase, and this is pretty easy to do as long as you just time your XP drops and you summon it in between, like you'll see me do in the video right here. If you don't know what Death Charge does, Death Charge actually gives you back 15% of your special attack, which is why we're able to do 3 DDSs or 3 Abyssal Dagger specs into a Chally spec, is because that 15% coming back is going to be really good. To go into my actual gear, obviously this is a lot of Ironman gear, your Barrow's gloves, your fire cape, your amulet of torture if you go ahead and grind your crafting out. If you're going for this, you probably already have torture, you probably already have berserker ring, and you may have dragon boots instead of primordials, but I'm wearing primordials obviously because that's just what we have. Dragon defender as well, which is pretty good. Now to go into the gear setup, what I want to do is put this on. I want you to imagine the Darok legs or obsidian plate legs, because the biggest change here between this and also the upgraded Bandos gear that you'll see me wearing in the clip is not much. The fighter torso and the Bandos chestplate are the exact same when it comes to attack bonuses and melee strength bonus. The only difference you'll see here is defense and prayer. The Bandos tassets over the obsidian plate legs, if I had them, is a +1 to strength bonus, which does nothing. The melee stats are the exact same, no attack bonus difference, but there's going to be a +1 instead of a +2 here for the Darok's plate legs. That's the only difference you'll see between the Bandos tassets and the obsidian plate legs if you're doing it with those, which most mid-level Ironmen are. And then the final one is just going to be the Need Is Not face guard, which you'll see the exact same thing. No attack bonuses, but there is a 3+ to melee strength. So, with wearing full Bandos and the Need Is Not face guard, as opposed to the fighter torso, obsidian plate legs, and helm of Need Is Not that you'll usually see people doing, it's going to be a +4 to strength. So it's really only going to add 1 max hit to everything. So if you decide that it's not a viable guide because I'm wearing Bandos and face guard, just understand there are no attack bonuses, but there is a +1 max hit. So other than that, there's really not a single difference in this gear that I was using. The biggest thing is going to be the weapons. In case you did not know, Hespori is very weak against slash. Its stab and crush defense are both 60, while its slash is a +20. So we will always be using slash attack style on this. So that's the biggest thing that I feel a lot of people may not do, is switching their attack style to slash. The Crystal Halberd, also known as the Chally, is going to be your last attack always. It has a slash bonus of 110, and it is a 7-tick attack weapon, so it will always be your last hit. So as you can see, I did a lot of downgrading to the gear, and what I want to do here is just show off how lenient you could be with the Chally spec at the end. I did climbing boots, I did Darok's plate legs, Helm of Need Is Not, so everything here is pretty much basic Ironman gear, honestly pretty much lower than you'll actually have, because I have an extra strength bonus on the Darok's plate legs. But what I want to do here is just pot and just show you what the hell is going on. Anyways, what I want to do is show you how lenient you can honestly be with the Chally spec, so obviously make sure it's on slash, aggressive, and just bam. So it can hit at 49. We can hit double 49 here and go ahead and hit a 98 on Hespori to finish it off. That is a third of its entire health. So honestly, you can be very lenient with your Chally specs and not have to worry about it too much. Don't try to sit there and do what I was doing for a lot of it, which was hoping that you can actually get the hit in. Just go ahead and go for it and see if you can actually do the damage, but be ready for a telly out if you don't actually kill. Now to go over the biggest difference in this guide that you'll probably see, let's go over the darts versus blowpipe. There's not a very big difference here. The biggest thing is the blowpipe just has an extra range on it by 1 tile, so you're going to get dragged a little bit more with darts. I actually find darts easier because the dragging, it lets me actually just kind of watch XP drops and be drug around. But I went for toxic blowpipe just because I'm a Chad, and that's what I decided to do. There's not a real big difference in these two, so this is not that big of a deal. This is where the second biggest difference is going to come in. The Abyssal Tentacle has one of the highest slash bonuses in the game, behind the Scythe of Vitor and also behind the Blade of Saldor. It's probably the third highest. If we go over here, there is a 90 attack bonus on slash, which is why a lot of people opt for this. This thing planked on me a lot, and this is where the first change is going to come with the gear. I believe the Fang is very easy for an Ironman to get. It is 50 raid invocation, which is honestly very laughable, and you can do at 80 combat. So bumping up to 150s, you can get the Fang very, very, very easily from Tombs of Amasket. This is not that hard of a gear upgrade to get for an Ironman. It's just going to require a little bit of RNG with your purples and everything from TOA. Now the Fang obviously is going to have an extremely high stab bonus at 105, but you'll see the slash bonus only goes down 15 here, which is not that much. The biggest difference is, even though it's 15% less slash attack bonus, what you're going to see is the passive effect of Fang come in huge. What people may not know is if you are hitting, all you have to do is roll mid-tier damage with every hit and a decent Chally spec at the end, and you will get this achievement. You don't need to hit high every single time. The biggest thing to remember is that the Fang is a 5-tick weapon with a weapon speed base of 3 seconds, whereas the Whip is a 4-tick with a weapon speed base of 2.4 seconds. So the Fang is slower, so what you are doing here is you're sacrificing one Abyssal Tentacle hit, but once again, I feel like the accuracy roll of the Fang is much better to go ahead and get 2 slashes in, as opposed to the Whip's 3 slashes with much less accuracy. Now what I want to go into is the biggest change of this entire gear setup, which is going to be the Abyssal Dagger. Now unfortunately, in terms of obtaining the gear in this video, this is the most RNG portion of obtaining the gear. But in terms of accuracy and getting the challenge, this is the best change I think I could possibly make to the gear setup. If you did not know, recently there was a game update that came out that made the Abyssal Dagger special attack drop from 50% to 25%, the same as the Dragon Dagger. Now the Abyssal Dagger is going to be the hardest thing to probably get here, because this is going to require you to get an Unsired from Sire, which is a 1 out of 100 drop rate. At a mid-tier Ironman, you can definitely kill Sire, and if you get an Unsired, it is the second most common drop on the Unsired drop table at a 1 out of 5, whereas a Bludgeon Piece is the most common at a 1 out of 2. There are two major differences between the Dragon Dagger and the Abyssal Dagger. The Dragon Dagger has a 15% increase in accuracy and a 15% increase in damage with its special attack, whereas the Abyssal Dagger has 15% less damage, but a 25% increase in accuracy. This means overall, if your max hit with the Dragon Dagger is a 49-49, your max hit with the Abyssal Dagger is a 43-43. Most people would find this very bad on Hespori, as we're trying to do as much damage as possible. However, the biggest change lies in the second passive effect of the Abyssal Dagger special. Whereas the Dragon Dagger special attack hits for 2 accuracy checks, one on the first swipe and one on the second swipe, the Abyssal Dagger only does 1 accuracy check. What this means is if you hit the first hit of the special attack, the second one will hit as well. Vice versa, if you hit a 0 on the first one, you will hit a 0 as well. What this means is, unlike the Dragon Dagger, where you can hit a 43 into a 0 or a 0 into a 20, the Abyssal Dagger will either hit 0-0 or it will hit at least something on both hits, which means you will do more damage on average and it is much more accurate. The same way the Fang is much more accurate than the Abyssal Tentacle. These two changes right here make a lot of the RNG of this fight go away. These are two major updates that came to the game, and this is why I decided to make this guide, because if you can get your hand on these 2 items, or at least one of these 2 items, this fight becomes much easier. But honestly, this was just an updated guide. I still think you can do this with the Abyssal Tentacle, with the Dragon Dagger, and with darts. no problem, but I believe these two weapons right here, especially with the changes that have come to the Abyssal Dagger, make this a much more viable option if you're having a hard time with this challenge because of the accuracy and the RNG of your damage. I feel like these will just make this challenge much easier for you, the same way it made it much easier for me. And now, I guess to end the video, I'll just show you me getting the achievement. Thank you for watching. I'm like dropping the slash accuracy, but also trying to increase it. That makes any sense? Decent. Huge. Massive. $180. One more hit. 32. It did get me into next. Did I get it? I got it! Let's go! The thing coming in clutch, bro. Oh my god, I got it. That had to be 36 on the dot. That was a 34. Finally, the RNG, guys. Oh my god, it was the Abyssal Dagger and the Fang for the accuracy checks, man.